Hi, welcome to the Back to Basics Weight Loss Surgery YouTube channel. My name's Dana and MsDanagerous, and I'm your Saturday vlogger. Today's topic came from a brainstorm session that some of us had, and this one was suggested by Miss Janie here, Janie Ortiz, and it's about success. And the question is, what is success to you? And how far out do you have to be to call yourself a success? So I have found myself doing a lot of self-reflection this week. Today is August 3rd, 2013. I guess I should say that. And it happens to be my 50th birthday. And I say that not to get happy birthday wishes, which I'm sure a lot of you will send, but just to say that, you know, the last week or two has really been a time of reflection in my life. And I think that probably happens when you hit certain milestone birthdays. And it definitely has for me as I closed out my 40s and was preparing to enter 50. And, you know, I had my weight loss surgery at the time that I did because I said I did not want to enter my 50s in the same way that I'd lived my 20s and 30s and 40s. So, you know, in this reflection, there has been some thoughts about success and what makes success, and not necessarily these words, but as I began to think about this topic more, you know, it's uncovered some stuff, I think, for me. So I really struggled as far as, well, what would be a definition of success for me. I looked it up in the dictionary, and there were a few things. It said the first option says the favorable or prosperous termination of attempts. In other words, end of attempts or endeavors, the accomplishment of one's goals. Okay, yeah, I would agree with that. That if you set a goal and then you achieve the goal, you can say, I was successful at that goal. The second definition says the attainment of wealth, position, honors, or the like. Well, I hate that definition. I think we can look at many people who have obtained some of those things, and they may be successful in one aspect of their life, but they are not successful in others. So, you know, for me, I have to think about success in a multi-dimensional playing field. We hear that term, the ladder to success, etc. I really don't like that analogy of a ladder for several reasons. One, I think that it suggests, by nature, we can only be on one ladder at a time. And when I think about what makes success in my life, I have always defined it on multiple lines. The other part is, you know, once you get to that top of the ladder, what next? Where do you go from there? And, you know, I think that this, you know, life is a journey, and not just your weight loss journey, but life is a journey. And if you feel like you're done, there always needs to be a what next, you know, or otherwise you're not going to have a fulfilling life. So I don't really like the analogy of a ladder. I like more the analogy of a path, and that can twist and turn, but gets you in the right direction. You know, when I was a kid, and probably most of you remember that old board game called The Game of Life, and there was this goal way at the end, the finish line that you got to, but in the between there was all these twisties and turnies and around. Well, that really is more like life. The thing is, at the end is the end of your life to me. And I think that if you set hard targets for success, then sometimes you also need to really, when you hit those, you need to say, what else, you know, is the next step. So, I know I feel I'm a little rambly. For me, being successful, I have to think about my relationships, whether that's friends and family, whether that is my, and I have to think about my professional success, my personal self-growth kind of success, my success to live in this body. And weight loss surgery for me was a pathway to those other things. It was not for me an end all. So I started this and I did not have a goal, a specific weight goal. And I did not have a specific size goal. I kind of said, if I get to this, I'll be really happy. I'll be pleased, with that aspect. But really, my goals relating to weight loss surgery were about no longer having my weight control what I could and could not do in my life. No longer being in pain for everyday kinds of activities. Preventing having a second knee replaced, because I've had one knee replaced. And really just being able to live the kind of life that I wanted to in my next 50 years. So, because of that, I think I have also taken a kind of view that every path or every step that gets me closer to those ultimate goals is a success. And I don't think it's ever too early to call yourself a success because of that. So, if you're in the pre-op stage and you're working on just setting some healthy behaviors to prepare you for the rest of your life, you're a success as long as you keep putting the things in motion to move to that end desired state. And sometimes even, we take a step backwards and then we come forward. So, momentary failure does not mean that I'm less successful. I think that the question is, when do you not call yourself successful? Because if you are finding yourself at a point where you are saying to yourself over and over, I'm not successful, then it's time to check what your definition of success is. It's time perhaps to check your goals. I know there are folks out there who struggle trying so hard to reach a specific spot on the scale or a specific size on the clothing rack. And for some reason, they're not there yet, and they fail to see themselves as being a success today. They fail to see that the things that I put in motion may ultimately get me to that final end state. And that putting things in motion does make me a success today. So, I think if you started this journey and thought, when I hit X pounds, I'm going to be a success, you're not able to experience the true joy and happiness that you can get along this way. The other part is, if you think when you get to be, a perfect size, that's going to make everything else so much more successful in your life, again, you're not experiencing the full joy that you can in your life. So for me, I can't compartmentalize what makes me successful, and I can't consistently have in my head that I'm not a success. Now, some days I do better than others. Some days, if I am not following my eating plan, you know, I don't feel successful that day. But I will go find something and change my behavior that I can feel a success about that, you know. Just like if I was a bitch to my husband this morning, I would not judge myself successful in our relationship, and I would do something to make a change and get back on track and make our life together successful. To me, this is about not one path. It's a multi-dimensional, multi-pathed kind of aspect. And you need to think about all the things in your life that are ultimately going to make you happy. And you need to think about, you know, some of those in generic terms. Having a real specific goal can sometimes set us up. And I know goals are supposed to be specific, measurable, attainable, reasonable, time-bound, smart goals. But sometimes those goals, if they're not realistic, can make us feel less than successful. And it wasn't really an issue that we weren't doing the right things. It was that the goal was not the right goal. So don't sacrifice one aspect of your life in order to achieve another aspect of your life. I read a story this morning about, I think it was Mozart, who was, you know, a musical genius and who lived his life pursuing the one goal of music. And when you look at that, he succeeded. But he ended up his life basically penniless, with a wife and kids who hated him. I wouldn't judge his life a success, and that's not how I want my life to be. So I can't compartmentalize my weight loss journey into one thing that makes me successful. What I can say is that my weight loss journey is a path to get me to my overall place I want to be in life. Again, not holding me back from the other things that I want to do to be a good wife, a good mom, a good person, a good employee, and to have joy in my life as much as possible. And to, you know, feel like at the end of my life, I touched somebody and they cared that I was here. That's what success is about. That really is what success is about. It's not about how much I weighed. It's not about what size clothes I wore. So, how do I define success? I guess I just did it for you. And when would I call myself successful? As soon as I step on the path that gets me to where my heart wants me to be at the end, then I'm a success. And as long as I can keep moving forward more than I can keep moving backwards, I'm a success. I hope this was meaningful to some of you guys. You know, again, I'm sitting here at the beginning of the next half of my life. Have I done everything right? No. Am I putting one foot in front of the other to get me where I want to be at the end of my life? Yeah, I think I am. I hope the same for you. Love you all. Bye.